theme was Flores de Mayo. So we're lucky to have two guests. Division A Director, Regional Director Ida, and Toastmaster right? Or
No, sir.
Not yet.
I'm just trying to observe.
Yeah,
I could fit in.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Gary, right? Gary.
Yes, sir.
Guy.
So, how did you know the Toastmasters?
I've heard Toastmasters back a few years ago, but I didn't have the time that then. Then I heard one of my friends na she became a member of a Toastmaster elite group in Tomas Morato. So she was trying to invite me over. Sabi ko, let me see first if there's a group that I could attend nearby. And I was lucky enough to find you guys.
Okay, so welcome to our club.
Yes.
So normally, what we're afraid of from our guests is that they enjoy so much, and after that, they always attend the meeting. Okay, so before we go on, I would like to first open our meeting. So I now open this meeting. May I call Toastmaster Josie for our opening prayer?
Let us bow our head and feel the presence of our Lord. Lord, as we gather for this meeting, may we be guided by your wisdom. We pray that you may direct our club to promote excellence in public speaking. May you bless our mentors so they could help and guide us, especially us, baby Toastmasters, to become effective public speakers, communicators, and leaders. Lord, we ask that we may have fun and delightful meeting tonight. We ask this through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Thank you, Josie. Please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance to be led by Toastmaster Remil.
Can you please raise your right hand, face the Philippine national flag, and repeat after me. I pledge allegiance
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of my country
to the flag of my country
and to the republic for which it stands,
and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation under God,
one nation under God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty, justice,
justice,
and democracy for all.
and democracy for all.
Okay. Thank you, Remil. Please
Sit down.
sit
down, no?
Sit now.
Si Miss Jerry. Si Miss Jerry na wala akong balita.
Oh. Welcome once again, Joe. Toastmaster Joe.
Yes.
Welcome back.
Welcome home.
Long time no see. So, our Toastmaster of the evening will explain, will give us a background about Toastmasters, Metro Manila Toastmasters, and the mother organization, which is Toastmasters International, especially for the information of our new guest, Gary. And our Toastmaster of the evening is our most revered member
Yes.
and mentor.
Yes.
He has been a member
Sino
of this club
Sino yung
for,
director, area director natin?
for so many years, even before the war. What? The Gulf War. And for the information of Gary, you know, our Toastmaster of the evening, according to one of our member tools, when he enters that door, he's an apparition.
Should we say a prayer?
Hello! Hi, please, come Pasok, pasok.
Welcome back, another guest. Hello.
Mr. Guy?
Okay.
Yung sticker.
Children of the owner. Okay, so fellow Toastmasters and friends,
Yes.
let's welcome our Toastmaster of the evening, Freddy De La Cruz.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, and good evening, fellow Toastmasters and friends.
Good evening!
Good evening, Gary.
Good evening, sir.
Hey, welcome to the world of Toastmasters. A world of fun, friendship, and fortune. Because through fun and friendship, we arrive at a fortune of opportunities that just lies around. And if I may give us an example, for example, one sign of success is if you're a businessman, you tend to increase in your branches. Before, this Il Padrino is the only one here. Yeah, the only one. Now, Irving has 7 branches, the latest of which is in Baguio. So that's how. Now, one of our members, Mike, before was a photographer only in the Philippines. Now he's a photographer in Japan, in Australia,
China.
recently in Indonesia.
Yes, yes.
Right? So those are signs of a success. Because here our focus, our objective is for us not only to be good public speakers, but to be successful in life. And you may ask, what would be a clear, detailed example? No? Here we go by a positive mental attitude. So much so that in talking here in front, if we cannot say anything good or positive, we just keep our mouth shut. Yeah? And if you will notice later on, if you will join our club, here you won't hear any fight or trouble. Why? Because we discourage getting into a fighting mode. You may ask why? Because when we are in a fighting mode, what would come out of our lips? Is it positive or negative?
Negative.
Negative, di ba? So, that's one reason why most of us here get so successful in life. Success is just around the corner. Because when God feels that we are trying to be good to His words like that, then success is just around the corner. So that's how we are here in Metro Manila Toastmasters Club. We do not rest until good becomes better and better becomes best. And here, if you will notice, we are just a small group. Here we are family.
Yes.
And Mr. President, by the way, you have not given us a little introduction. Could we at least, so we can hear the voice of our friends over here? So, as a little icebreakers, let's introduce ourselves by stating our name, and a little bit something about us, 1 or 2 lines. Okay? Let's start with the guy or gentleman on my left. Okay? Our past president of Metro Manila Toastmasters Club, Erwin, if you...
Yeah. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests.
Good evening po.
Kailan. Ang lakas na ng boses ko eh. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I'm Erwin Pangwi, and I'm happily married. My wife is happy, and I'm married.
Magandang gabi po, I'm Gary.
Magandang gabi.
Gary Astrologio.
Welcome,
I'm a doctor by profession.
Okay.
I'm sidelines, I do lectures for some multinational companies, and that's why maybe if I would belong here, I get some tricks, no? In how to better myself in public speaking. I hope I could attend to your meeting every Thursday.
Yes.
Mukha naman kung you have your parang internet, ano?
Yes.
Is that internet?
Yeah.
Anyway, maraming salamat po mo for the warm welcome.
Yeah.
Hi Gary. I'm Ivan. I'm the most boring person here. But I'm your seatmate now, so I try to make your seat very exciting.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Ida. I'm also
Evening,
the
Ida.
President at Toastmasters
Yes.
Club. I'm
Nice,
currently
Ida.
holding the Division A Director, which will end in a month. I'm June 30.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. I'm glad to be here. I'm Jo Ivonia. Thank you. I texted Arlene. Arlene, are you coming to Toastmasters? She said yes.
Habol.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and Sir Gary.
Good evening.
I'm Miguel Amit, and I'm the most quiet person here.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and friends.
Good evening.
I'm Josie Arenas. Second would be the most quiet here. And just like Sir Irvin, I'm also happily married, but I'm the happy and he's married.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and Sir Gary.
Ayos sila.
I'm Remil Panes. I'm currently a student at Trinity University of Asia, currently studying broadcasting.
Wow.
Good evening. I'm June Sakayan. According to Tools, I'm the best president of this club
Yes.
for this year. But I'm glad tonight because I heard that election is forthcoming, and I'm looking forward to be the past president.
My goodness.
Next month na eh.
Coffee.
June 30.
Good evening, fellow Toastmaster friends, and good evening, Gary. I'm Glenda Abad, and if you forget, I also go by Ganda.
Small.
That's it. I'm Glenda Ganda. Ayun lang po.
Good evening, fellow Toastmaster. Hello, Gary.
Hi.
My name is Richard, but you can call me RC. And according to the person beside me from my right, I'm the most handsome man.
Oh.
No comment at all.
Nilibre niya kape ko eh.
And Gary, it's nice to know that you said that you're a doctor. Here in Metro Manila Toastmasters Club, we have a practice here that whenever we enter that room, we enter it, we leave who we are outside of the room, whether we are a doctor, an architect, a lawyer, or whatever, or a student. And we enter the club as Gary, as Ernie, as Freddy. So we hold hands together in lifting each other up.
Yes.
And here is one experience that I noticed. There are some members who join the club because they have one difficulty. In their own organizations, they're already speakers in their own right. But they told me that, Sir Freddy, how come I'm not so effective as a speaker because of the feedback that I get, no? I said, perhaps I could make two guesses without even asking you. First of all, you lack humor in your talk. Secondly, you may be reading your notes. Because here in Metro Manila Toastmasters, we discourage as much as possible reading our notes. Why? Because isn't it that sincerity can be seen in our eyes? Because as the saying goes, our eyes is the window of the soul. Now, so actually, between reading our notes and delivering it without notes, it only takes a little few more hours of rehearsal time. But the effect is really fantastic when you are here in the front. No? Oh, thank you. Welcome the late.
Kailangan ko ng evaluator niya.
Thank you. Thank you.
Five or six?
6.
Thank you, Gary.
Vocal variety.
Gary, thank you. Okay, so sit down and be comfortable.
And I am, by the way, Freddy de la Cruz, a past president of this club, just like Erwin, just like June. And I enjoy attending Toastmasters club meetings than staying at home. I don't know, but it is my experience perhaps when we advance a little in age, that we prefer to be outside of the house.
Open pa yung account?
In fact, two of my doctor friends, I don't know if you've heard of them, Gil Vicente is an ear throat specialist, and Leo Olarte, the one in, he's a Toastmaster too. Kaya nakipag-away yung kay Corina Sanchez to. Something like that. Oh, so Joe! Arlene is coming. Okay. So,
Hi, Miss Arlene!
Yung mga taga-Metro Bank, nandiyan din nagulat sila kay Arlene.
Reunion.
akala ko ayaw ko iwanan na yung partner mo. So, by the way, Glenn, you're delivering a speech, man?
Yes, number 6 po.
Number
What's
6.
the title of the speech?
Everybody is excited to give a speech. You know why, Gary? Because here, first of all, we are a friendly club. No? That if you will notice, if you join us later on, you will see that we are one small family. And we are all after for the welfare, the success of our neighbor. We are not that critical or that, how should I put it, putting down persons or embarrassing people. That is a no-no here in Metro Manila Toastmasters Club. So, number 4 also, no? Number 5.
6 na po. 6.
Number 6.
Yes.
Okay, number 6.
Vocal variety.
Title is
Unplanned. Here.
Unplanned.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Unplanned.
Wala po kaya.
EQ.
Kunin ko po, Ivan. Ha?
Now here, Gary, we address all the needs of a public speaker.
Kay Ivan, Susan.
Namely, extemporaneous speaking, meaning to say, our members write their speeches and memorize it by heart, so that they deliver it here without using notes. And later on, after our extemporaneous speaking, we will have our impromptu speaking. that is delivering speeches without notes and without the list, with the list of preparation, just like what we see in beauty contest, diba? That you can sheet of a piece of paper to develop a certain topic. That's table topics here in Metro Manila. Now, it is said that speeches are like babies. Speeches are like babies. Easy to conceive, but hard to deliver. No? But here in Metro Manila Toastmasters Club, you will notice that our members deliver their speeches as if delivering their 10th child. So easy, so natural, so effortless. Do you notice we have our speakers tonight?
Suminga lang.
Ayun! Come back!
Direct from Las Vegas. Okay.
Thank you, Sir Gary. Gary lang pala.
Dami nagdadatingan yun.
Alam mo, Gary, they just came from Las Vegas. You know, success in life.
Wait lang.
So,
Las Vegas, Cubao.
nakita ko doon yung Universal Disneyland or Universal Studios. I don't know where's that. Okay. So the first speech for tonight is speech project number 3. The title is First Love.
Yes.
Glenda, if you may want to read the objectives, so I guess Gary could have an idea.
For basic speech project 3, the objectives are: he must select a speech topic and determine its general and specific purposes, organize the speech in a manner that best achieves those purposes, ensuring the beginning, body, and conclusion, reinforcing the purposes, project sincerity and conviction, and control any nervousness that the speaker may feel, and also strive not to use notes. Those are the objectives for basic speech project number 3.
Okay. And his speech evaluator is distinguished Toastmaster Ida C.
Yes.
So let's give a big round of applause to Toastmaster Remil Panes. Yes, we are getting used to speaking without sending my letter.
Go to deal!
Okay. Now I'm pretty sure that most of us in this room have already felt being in love. Can you see some hands?
Yeah!
Who still remembers their first love? I'm just saying that first love is unforgettable. It never fades and it never wavers.
Yes.
I can still remember the very first time that I fell in love, like it was just a couple of days ago. Although I can't exactly recall the moment that I fell for her. What I do know is that the moment that I first laid my eyes on her, I knew she was the one. Like Jollibee. You know that moment when you're really, really hungry and you ordered something at Jollibee and you sit on the table, hoping that the food that the waiter has is for you.
Yes.
Only to realize that it was for another table.
Aww.
But this time, it was my food. I know that she was my first love and that she was going to play a big part in my life. And up until now, I was never disappointed. But before I realized all of that, a few years ago, we were always at each other's throats. You see, back then I was stubborn, stupid,
and just completely downright arrogant and reckless. I did so many horrible things that at the end of the day, she would always lecture me, always correct me and help me solve my problems. But I didn't like being treated that way, so I always ended up getting mad. And I yelled at her, I don't need you in my life, I don't want you. I want to be left alone. I know she only wanted to help. But back then I was really close-minded. All I cared about was me. I didn't care if it hurt her feelings, I didn't care if she would give me up, because honestly, back then, I really wanted her to completely leave me alone. She only wanted to help me, but I couldn't realize it back then. Until one day, I got into this huge trouble. Me and my friends in our local basketball game got into trouble, got into a fight with another team. Now I was actually the one who initiated the fight, because I was so brave that my friends would got my back. They got my back. So the moment things got heated up, I punched the guy right in the face in front of me. And the twist is, he was actually much taller than me. I was so confident because we had this friend. His name was Arlo. He was an African American dude looking.
Wow.
He was really strong. He was good built. And the thought that popped up into my head was, if things got really out of hand, then I'll just hide behind his back and let him do his thing. Easy win. But as I look back, they were already on the other side of the road, running. They left me alone. And I know that completely I was totally screwed.
Yeah.
I got screwed up. Then I tried to run away, believe me, I tried to. But the moment that I was about to step away, the leader, the one who I punched in the face, grabbed my shirt, pulled me towards him, and punched me right in the eye. And man, was it strong? Yeah, I fell to the ground. And all of them started kicking me and punching me all over the body, on my head, on my face, especially on my legs. So after that, I wasn't able to walk. But luckily, this janitor, this great janitor, saved my life. Because I thought that I was going to die from the pain, so painful. He saved my life because he intervened. He told them that if they wouldn't stop, then he would have to call the police, call the barangay. So they did. After that, I passed out. I didn't know much any of what happened after that. They said that my father picked me up and brought me home. But after I woke up, the only thing that I saw was her. She was so concerned, she was so worried that she just hugged me and kissed me on the cheek. I thought she would be mad, that she would be furious and she would lecture me again, but she didn't do any of that. She didn't complain what I did or why she had to be the responsible one and take care of my actions. She never complained. And over the days, I was actually bedridden for 2 weeks. And in those 2 weeks, she was the only one who took care of me. And I can feel it. I can see it in her eyes. I can feel it in her movement that she was sick. And she was really, really exhausted. But she fought that. She fought that just to take care of me. She would even cook my favorite food. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You name it, complete. She would even, every day that I woke up, she would help me get up, start walking because I wasn't able to walk. She would guide me. And whenever I fell, she was always right there beside me, ready to raise me up and guide me again. I was so lucky with her. And then one day I saw her passed out. She was so exhausted and sick that her body just gave up. She passed out in the dining room. I was so devastated, I didn't know how much pain that I brought to her life. A tear fell from my eye. It was so painful that knowing that I was the one who gave her her problems, her pain, but she only replied with me. She only replied genuine, true love, unconditional love that I can't repeat. So after that day, I was able to slightly walk again with the help of a crane. I got a crane. So I got up, took my crane, walked slowly, and searched the whole house for her. She wasn't in the dining room. So I searched in the bathroom, I searched in the living room. She wasn't there. She was in the kitchen, already up and cooking for me. Can you believe that? She was amazing. But as I stood there, frozen, thousands of emotions keep running on my head, but I couldn't even conjure up one thing to say to her. So I just walked towards her, slowly, hugged her from behind, and told her, "Mom, I'm so sorry for everything." And she replied, "It's okay. I love you. Let's
Aww, mommy.
I believe that a man's first love is his mother. They may love their girlfriends for a year, they may love their wives for a decade, but they will love their mothers forever. She was truly. She was truly.
Okay,
I love you, bro. It's really my first love. The one thing that God has given me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's give Darren another big round of applause.
Galing! Galing na mentor mo!
Indeed, mother started it all. So after speech project number 3, we now come to speech project number 4.
Yeah.
How to say it. And Glenn, you may want to read the objectives of speech project number 4.
Yes, I want to. Saglit lang po, I want to. Okay. Speech project number 4, objectives. Select the right words and sentence structure to communicate your ideas clearly, accurately, and vividly. Use rhetorical devices to enhance and emphasize ideas. Eliminate jargon and unnecessary words. Use correct grammar.
Okay. And here to deliver speech project number 4 with the title F4 Saved My Mother's Life. And his evaluator is competent communicator June Sakayan. Let's give a big round of applause to Toastmaster
Ivan. Ivan.
Thank you.
Okay. It's okay. It's okay, Freddy.
You want me to remove this? Yeah.
Ito po yung mga questions sa table topics.
Huh?
Table topics ko.
Ay, ito.
Question. Next week, next Saturday is going to be Mother's Day. So my speech for today has also the same theme as Remil. Although we didn't talk about it beforehand. My mother, a few years ago, my mother collapsed inside our bathroom, and none of us knew that it happened. Miraculously, she got up after a few minutes, and then she's okay. She walked to my dad, and she said, you know, you should bring me to the hospital because I just collapsed. So my dad brought her to the Philippine Heart Center. Meron po bang taga-Philippine Heart Center dito? Yari na. And what's funny with the Philippine Heart Center is everybody's panicking when you have that kind of condition, when you bring somebody to the Philippine Heart Center because there is a risk of heart attack. But if you go inside the emergency room of the Philippine Heart Center, you will see a very, very long line. And even if you panic so much, the nurses there will just ask you to sit down and they will tend to the line. And while you are endangered or while you are panicking because you might get a heart attack soon, you will see left and right the bodies of dead people who will pass by you. Anyway, the doctor said that my mother should take maintenance medicine and she should not get into a stressful job anymore. Now the problem was during that time, my family had a catering business. And the catering business relied very heavily on my mother. So that business had to stop. It was
a little bit of a difficult time for us. And my mother, she felt helpless. She felt sad. She felt worthless at that time. And going through depression, people, what I've learned is, I think people in that age, when you go through depression, it's a very difficult thing to get out of. It's very difficult to help you out of it. And she was just going through the motions of her day and not having life with her during that time. On those years, I think that was around 2000, 2001, early 2000, there was this massive, massive hit show called The Meteor Garden. Are you guys familiar with it?
Yes!
Now, Meteor Garden is a, if I'm not mistaken, it's a Taiwanese soap opera that is starred by 4 good-looking, rich Taiwanese guys and one quirky, funny, small little girl. Okay, my mother was a big fan of that TV show, and you know how fans become groupies, and how groupies become their cult members, and it just escalates to a certain kind of deranged level already. Our living room has Mama Mary over here, and Jesus Christ was moved aside. There was this big portrait of Dao Mingsu like that in our living room. It was a total nightmare for me because I had high school friends coming by inside the office. They would ask, who is this God beside Mama Mary? So my mother was a big, big, big fan of that show, and it revitalized her. It gave her life, it gave her meaning through it, and she opened up a business, which is an English school, so that in the future she might actually teach those 4 Taiwanese boys to speak in English. It changed her whole life. One day, she woke me up and asked me, Ivan, F4 is coming to the Philippines. Can you join me in the concert? And before I could have said something, she said, your dad said no already, your brother said no already, you're the only one left. So I said, yeah, okay, I'll join you through the concert. The concert was in Ultra, and if you have a choice, please do not go to a concert that is actually hosted in Ultra, because it was a total nightmare. Because the rule in Ultra is they don't care about you until you get in their gates. So beyond their gates, it's total chaos. We lined up for 3 hours, and after 3 hours, we reached the gate. The gate was packed with so many people. We were body to body with each and every one. You can't even drop a pen in the middle of everybody. And you know how people go to a concert way earlier than you're supposed to. So it was hours before. But these fans, these groupies, these cult members, they are so excited about the concert that when the stage people does a sound check, so you'll hear like a string of the guitar, people at the back would start pushing. And they would say, the concert is starting, we are still outside! And that was 5 o'clock in the afternoon, while the concert is around, 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. Anyway, we got up. Our tickets were 1,700 each. But we were far, 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 far way back. So I saw this huge number of people, mostly girls, mostly females. And then the F4 people started singing. And they didn't know how to speak in English. They didn't know any Filipino or English song. They sang in Chinese. And everybody was still dancing, and everybody was still raising their hands. And I was surprised because while they were singing, the Filipino groupies were singing along with them in Chinese. And I'm sure they don't understand anything about that song, but they were able to follow it. And I was going to crack a joke to my mom. And I said, Mom, look at these people. They look like idiots. They're singing a Chinese song they don't understand. And then I saw my mom singing the same song. Anyway, but I dance along. I wave my hand and dance along. I wanted my mom to have a good time. I didn't understand it. I didn't know what F4 was or what their music was, but I did dance along. And I did wave my hand along. At the end of the concert, my mom thanked me and she said, "You know what, Ivan? I'm very grateful that you danced along, that you sang along with us, because just accompanying me is a good gift enough. But enjoying with me is something much, much greater." I didn't understand that at that point. But until now, she keeps on telling that story that way. So I learned that day that generosity comes in different levels, and that sometimes accompanying somebody is a sign of generosity enough, but but enjoying yourself also while accompanying them will go through much